Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing? So the other day I reacted to a video about questions for Americans. I found it very amusing, mostly because just right off the bat, the questions were pretty much just straight up insults, which I should have foreseen, but I did not. And so, well, I stumbled across this thread on Ask Reddit. Non-Americans of Reddit. What's the question you want to ask Americans the most? You're just dying to ask Americans. It's kind of an American, like an arrogant American thing. What questions do you have for us? I know you're all just dying to ask us questions, but I thought it would be fun to go through. All right, let's go. Let's start off right here. Is hunting a common hobby? Yeah, extremely common. You have a lot of guns and game animals. Yeah. Especially here in Indiana, hunting is extremely common hobby. I would say a huge portion of men and even some women hunt, mostly men. I'm trying to think of like a percent. I would say probably like 20% of guys hunt. Maybe a little less. I don't know. But yeah, it's very common. And the people who do hunt, man, they love it. They talk about it all the time. It's an expensive hobby, so they own a lot of equipment and stuff for it. So they talk about hunting a lot. Very common hobby. Do you still have guacamole Doritos? I hope not. Never heard of them. It does not sound that good. I mean, usually pretty much any Doritos are good, so they're probably good, but it doesn't sound good. Why is there such a big gap in your bathroom stalls? That was a question in the video, too. It's extremely stupid. That's a really good question. I think it's so that you can see if someone's occupying the bathroom. But like I went over in that last video, obviously that's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous and embarrassing. And it gave me a lot of anxiety growing up, especially in school. I just don't like the thought. Even like the big gap at the bottom, I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. Because then I'm always just thinking, I'm in here trying to poop. And the other guys in here know it's me. They can see my shoes. And so they can recognize me. I had a lot of anxiety growing up, though. So maybe that's just me. But I did not appreciate that. Why are Cheesecake Factory portions so goddamn big? Why are you complaining about that? And how do people finish their meal there and get dessert? I don't know. I'm not the most gluttonous American. You need to go find a different American to ask this question. Let's see if this guy knows. It's dinner tonight and lunch for tomorrow. You take the cheesecake or go, or you share. I guess that makes sense. I do appreciate a large portion meal, though, at restaurants. I'm not going to lie. I don't go to if you go to like a fancy restaurant, usually the portions are smaller and you have to pay more. I prefer the gigantic American portions, especially when I can take some to go. I like saving money. So there you go. Like this guy said, I like getting a giant portion. Maybe I'll have some left over and I can take it to go and eat it for lunch the next day. Fantastic. But there's actually not Cheesecake Factories like near me, so I don't really know how big the portions are there. I've gone a couple times, and I know they were big, but yeah. Is handling small chains annoying? I found a penny recently, and I just imagined that to be the equivalent of the Australian 5-piece. Yeah, I don't even bother carrying a penny. Absolutely not. I'd rather just, like, if I saw a penny on the ground, it would stay there. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's a penny. It's not worth anything anymore. Back in the day, my grandpa's day, a penny would have been worth something. I think you could almost buy a hot dog with it for like 5 cents or something. But nowadays, yeah, no. A penny is totally useless unless you're trying to pay an exact change. Pretty much the only time you carry a penny is when you get change. You know, you hand them a $10 bill and you get pennies back as change. And they are pointless. Pointless. Are you generally as patriotic as people joke, or is it a fairly common opinion that other places might be better, or people might want to move abroad when they're older? This is, I would say this is divided right down the political spectrum. You know what I mean? Which is only getting, America's only getting more and more divided and secluded on both ends of the spectrum. So you have the right, which is generally very patriotic, and then the left. It's kind of annoying to me because I don't think that one political party should have a monopoly on, you know, being patriotic. That shouldn't really be a divided down political lines like it is now, but that's the way it is. But on the flip side of the political spectrum, it is trendy to not like America, you know, to like hate America, to think it's like the worst country in the world. Because, of course, the two political spectrums have to be the exact opposite of each other. So the right loves America, the left, some of the left, hates America. That's pretty much how it is. No one can just be like, yeah, I like America, but also America does some pretty stupid stuff. Which states offer best quality of life? Ooh, that's an interesting question. I'm probably not the right guy to answer that. I don't know. I mean, I have lived in New York, Pennsylvania, and Indiana. Best quality of life. A lot of people are moving to Texas. I guess, you know, there are states where there's no income tax, no state income tax, and those also tend to be the states that it's more affordable to buy houses and stuff. So I guess it depends what you're looking for. Best quality of life. That's a really interesting question. Is bullying really... Actually, I'm curious to watch or to read some answers. Pacific Northwest. Okay. It's magical. Okay, there you go. Amazing weather, low pollution, tons of camping and hiking areas. There you go. Pacific Northwest. You know, being from Indiana, I actually don't even think about, like... the benefits of living somewhere where you have like a beautiful environment, because Indiana is just, for the most part, pretty boring as far as the landscape. So yeah, that sounds pretty nice. Pacific Northwest, there you go. Is bullying really as much of a problem in schools as it's made to appear on TV, movies, media? I assume it's that way everywhere in the world. I think kids are just assholes. But it is... is it as much a problem as it's made to appear? Probably not as much. But because, you know, like the media tends to exaggerate a lot of things, but it's definitely a huge problem for some people. For some people, you know, if you're being bullied, then yeah, it's a massive problem for you. That's horrible. But I do think, and I'm not just saying this, like I've seen at least anecdotal evidence that bullying is very common in a lot of places around the world. So I don't think that's really a uniquely American issue. But it is an issue, and I don't know how to stop bullying. Because, like I said, a lot of kids are just jerks. They don't understand, like, especially when they're in grade school, they don't understand how their words and actions, you know, excluding other kids and making fun of what they're wearing and stuff, they don't have, like, empathy. And it does happen. How popular is ice hockey over there? Not very popular, but popular enough that we have the NHL and it sustains itself, and there's fans. I'm aware of some ice hockey fans, not a lot, not a lot. It's definitely not like basketball or football, but I would say it's the next popular. Well, no, then baseball would be next, and then maybe ice hockey. I watched my first live game on the weekend, and that shit is awesome. I have gone to a couple live hockey games, and I agree. I love watching sports in general, especially live. So I agree. Ice hockey's awesome, but it's not in the same league as far as popularity as football or basketball. What is the Midwest? I don't know, but I live in it. I don't really know why Indiana is considered the Midwest. It's not on the western part of America. So I actually don't know exactly what defines the Midwest as far as a geographical location, but it definitely has a vibe to it. Like you can tell just by the people you're around. They're a little bit more southern. It's like a blend of southern and northern type of culture. Is rolling coal a real thing? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. It is. Um, those people are idiots. It's not. I was gonna say it's not super common, but it's also not that uncommon. You know what I mean? You might see it like once every year or two, I would say, in like a Midwestern or Southern rural area. If you're driving a car, like an electric car or something, and some idiot in a big diesel truck thinks you're, I mean, this is like hopefully they're like a kid. So, because kids drive here in America. 16-year-olds are driving around, and that's some dumb thing a 16-year-old idiot would do is roll coal onto a car that he thinks is not as cool as his truck or something. Can you tell the difference in accents between someone from the northern states and someone from Canada? Barely. Like, I would say like I'm looking at a map just because like someone from Minnesota. That comes to mind as being one of the more difficult accents to distinguish from Canadian accent. But I would say yes, but it is a little bit difficult. Now, there's other states like New York where it's not difficult at all, which is kind of surprising since you can drive to Canada real quick from New York, but the accents are not similar at all. Why are there so many General companies? I don't know. That's a good question. General Motors, General Electric. I have no idea. I don't know. There's like the Dollar General. That's a really good question. It's kind of like a really boring word, general. In fact, it almost means boring. Like general. We're nothing special. What's with everyone talking about weed and stories of getting high on it? Is it that easy to lay hands on? Oh, yeah, you can get your hands on weed even before it was legal anywhere here in America. Super easy to get your hands on it. Super easy. I mean, it was outlawed in the entire United States. I'm old enough to remember that, those days, even for medical purposes. Outlawed. But even in high school, getting your hands on it, super easy. Like, you probably could, probably 1 or 2 degrees of separation between you and a marijuana dealer in high school. Is every single high school sports team called the Wildcats? Or is that just a Hollywood thing? It's a very common name. I think there's a reason that's in all the Hollywood movies. That is a very common name. Yeah, this guy says Wildcats and Tigers. That's true too. Tigers. I went to a school where we were the Tigers. The mighty, mighty Tigers. All right, this is the last one I'll do. Do all high schools... I'm enjoying this, though. And actually, these questions haven't just been, why are you stupid? So, that's refreshing. Do all high schools have huge stadiums where the whole town goes to watch sports? Yeah. Absolutely, especially in smaller towns and in bigger towns. Yes. In fact, yeah, it's not even so much just a small town thing. But what I'm getting at is that in a small town, that's one of the things people do, Oh, there's a football game at the high school on Friday. Well, let's go down and watch. Absolutely. And yeah, there are huge stadiums with stadium seats and stuff. For sure. For sure. Absolutely. Some are, there's different degrees of scale. But some are crazy. You might almost think that's a professional stadium. And it's for high schoolers. Funny stuff. Although, I think I've been to a total of 0 high school football games. Maybe 1. So, but that's just because I was a weirdo. Still am. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Those were actually fun questions. I really enjoyed that. I'll have to come back to this someday. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.